Hey, my name is Sahil Rahman, and I'm part of the Quest program at the University of Maryland, and I'm here to tell you about presentation skills. So, believe it or not, the fear of public speaking is actually greater than the fear of death, which seems like a crazy concept, but people really don't like getting in front of audiences and giving speeches. So we're here to break down the process today and make it seem a lot easier. So, first, the most important thing is to relax. Realize that giving a speech is not the end of the world. If you don't perfect it the way you want it to, everything is still going to be okay, and you will live to see another day. Another big thing is being able to speak slowly while giving your speech. When people get nervous, they start talking really fast like this, and it makes everyone in the audience extremely uncomfortable. But if you just slow down, it makes it seem like you're much more composed and knowledgeable of your material. So, as I mentioned, not being knowledgeable of your material, I think knowing the material is the #1 most important thing that you can do while giving a presentation, because it gives you that internal confidence while presenting to say that I know this material. If anyone asks me a question, I'll be prepared with an answer for them. Second, before you prepare for your presentation, it's really important to dress well. Especially when you're in teams. A lot of times teams wear completely mismatched outfits. For example, you'll have one person wearing a suit and then another person wearing a polo, and that just looks very unprofessional. So from a team presentation standpoint, it's important to plan out from what colors to what outfits and whatever it may be that you're doing beforehand. And along with that, as part of your preparing beforehand with your team or individually, you should definitely go to the location where you are presenting. So if you're presenting in a big auditorium, don't have the first time you give the speech be the first time you're on that stage. Go beforehand and practice at the auditorium. And so you're extremely comfortable with your environment. And then also, if you're using a PowerPoint or Prezi, you can do a little bit of a tech check so you can make sure that everything's working. So the third thing is practice beforehand, but when you're practicing, make sure you do it in the right environment. And also touched on PowerPoint and Prezi, which are both two very powerful tools you can use to help enhance your presentations. Now, for PowerPoints, I think it's really important that you keep them simple and they don't overwhelm the audience. A lot of times people have a tendency to load them up with text, and so the audience is struggling to read this and then they stop paying attention to what it is that you're actually saying. So a great way to use the PowerPoints is to put specific bullet points. So you can say part 1, part 2, and part 3. And so the audience can have an understanding of the 3 core concepts, and you as a presenter can use this as a reference point if you need to, and then you can also include pictures. The other thing I wanted to talk about was Prezis, and if you're not familiar with the concept, what Prezis do is an alternative form of PowerPoints, which makes it a little more interactive. And those can be great, and they usually have little circles where you zoom into one thing, and then it jumps to another circle and zooms into another. And they're a really effective way of grabbing people's attention, but they have to be done effectively because there are times when people jump around too much, so keep those simple. Also, it's really important that you make good eye contact with the audience, and if you don't feel comfortable going around and making eye contact with everyone in the room, one thing you can do is pick out a couple friendly faces on different corners, and whenever you get a little nervous, you can look in that direction. Also, I think a great way to structure your pitches is to tell a story. And so you can start with a clear beginning, saying, here's the problem I've identified, this is what we're going to do, and then you have a clear ending. And as part of working on a team when giving presentations, it's really easy to just focus on your part, and so you sit there thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm about to present, I don't know what to do, and then you give your speech, and then afterwards you're just like, I've had my sigh of relief, I'm done. While presenting, it's very important that you pay attention to the other person who's talking so the audience looks in that direction also, and you seem like a cohesive team and unit. Okay, so these are some basic tips you can use on presentation skills. My name is Sahil. Thank you for listening.